Hey, this is Lewis, and you're listening to the Moving to Canada podcast. This podcast really covers people who are thinking about and who are currently moved or moving to Canada. We have quite a few special guests on our podcast. We like to talk about the challenges, not just so much the paperwork side of things and moving over to Canada, but also how to adapt to life in Canada, what things you might enjoy, what things you might find challenging, and what things you might find interesting, and the difference in culture, as we might speak the same, well, half of the same language as the Canadians, as they also speak French, but also just once again insight of how life is over here in comparison to England and other countries. So yeah, welcome to the podcast. So during this podcast, I had the opportunity to speak to a number of different people who have actually moved over from England to Canada, one of them being James Mills. Say hello, James.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for joining the cast today. Just wanted to talk to you really about the moving situation, first of all. Was it stressful leaving your family for an extended period of time?
It's a stressful process of moving from England to Canada. It's a lot of paperwork and a lot of time consuming to fill out, and it's just making sure your checks are in order. And the biggest worry for me was leaving the family behind and going months and years without seeing them.
And just some background information just for the listener. How many years have you been in Canada now for?
So this is my third year now, 2.5 years, my third winter. So the winters are very harsh, I'll tell you that now.
I can agree with that one. So what was the hardest goodbye leaving for Canada, would you say? I know a lot of people say family. Would you agree? Was any foods or anything to do, like, your soccer team, or what was the main thing?
Obviously family's the hardest thing, but food-wise there's lots of foods back home that we enjoy. You just don't get over it. You get my mum sends a little care package over every sort of 6 weeks now, just to make sure I still feel at home. But yeah, apart from that, once you move here, the main thing for me was speaking the language. Everyone speaks English. That's the main thing. That helps you get through day to day. Of
course. And were you nervous about how the people are going to treat you? Obviously, there can be discrimination. I know since I've been here, a lot of people love to imitate the English accent. And I don't know, I take it lightheartedly. But what about yourself?
Same, really. A lot of people I've met so far love the English. I've not really met people that don't really like the English. Everyone's been very welcoming, and especially in the big city, if you ever get lost, there's always someone around to help you find your way, or even just finding jobs and somewhere to live. People are very helpful around here. Perfect.
And so why did you choose Toronto of all the places?
So similar to London, a big city. I've always grew up in a big city. Lots of opportunities here, and it's a very multicultural place, similar to London. So I knew I'd fit in very well here.
Perfect. And that is all the questions I have for you, James. Thank you very much for being a part of it. I wanted to get you on the second episode if you're free, and I wanted to talk about adapting to life in Canada. So will you join us next week for the next podcast?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.